Hello everyone, thanks for joining me as I go through 4 small bridge designs that can help you add a touch of class to your Valheim settlements. The first bridge on our list is made mostly of ordinary wood. I'll start by laying down a row of 2-meter wood beams leading from one side to the other. I'll add additional 2-meter wood beams at every point where 2 pieces meet. Onto each of those I'll add a 1-meter beam that'll allow me to place more 2-meter beams in between the ones that I've already put down. I'll get rid of the 1 meters and replace them with 2 meters, and you should have something that resembles a giant ladder. Underneath on either side, add a wood wall half going all the way across, then add another row of 2-meter beams at the bottom of the walls. On every other cross beam, I'll add a 26-degree wood roof cross, which will look a little bit like support from underneath. At the beginning of each end on top, I'll add a couple of 26-degree wood walls with some 26-degree beams leading off those going into the ground. I'll add more beams on each entrance to the bridge, and I'll free place these by holding shift. These will act as steps that will lead onto the bridge. To fill in the gaps on the walkway, I'll make a cross using the 2-meter wood beams. Each cross will be made of 4 beams in total and will span over 3 of the cross beams as shown here. For the handrails, I'll simply use wooden shutters, alternating their orientation for each piece placed. A couple of 2-meter poles added to either end to give our roof something to attach to. Just before that though, I'll place some standing wood torches at the entrances to the bridge. These will be positioned so that I can add 1-meter wood poles over the top of the torches to make them look a little bit nicer. Now to the roof. The 2-meter wood poles will get extended with another one to give us some good height for the roof, and at the top of those poles a 26-degree cross at each end. Connect those crosses with a row of 26-degree thatch roof ridges. To finish this one off, frame the roof with more beams. We'll start the second bridge with woodlog beams, 2 4-meter beams, a single 2-meter beam, then 2 more 4-meter beams. We'll put another row parallel to this one, separated by 2 of the 2x2 wood flooring. I'll remove the flooring that I used as a spacer, and I'll begin making the actual flooring with a randomized pattern made from the 1x1 wood flooring. I'll also leave a gap at each end as I don't want the flooring going all the way to the end of the logs. Now I can finish off the flooring with a couple of wooden stairs on either side. I'm going to place down 26-degree beams on the existing log beam, making sure that each one is in line with the floor piece. They should end up close enough to create a solid wall. As soon as I get to the middle, I'll link the 2 sides together with a 26-degree cross. Placing 2-meter poles on top of the 26-degree beams on the ends and a couple in the center will allow us to attach our roof. I'm not a big fan of this jagged look, so I'll just cover up the beams with a few log beams. "45-degree wood beams on each end for cosmetic support for the roof. A third row of log beams will connect all of the tops of those poles. "26-degree shingled roof on top. With 26-degree shingled roof corners to cap off each end. Wooden beams on the very top going down the center will complete the roof. I'll neaten up these bottom sections with a few more 26-degree wood beams. And just like the first bridge, I can put down torches in the same place on the entrances with 1-meter poles over the top. To finish this bridge, I think some support underneath will look good. Wooden stairs will do a good job, with 26-degree log beams on the edges. I'll start bridge number 3 with a row of ashwood beams. 2 of the 2x2 flooring down as a spacer, then another row of ashwood beams parallel to the first. Using a 1x1 floor piece to get the correct position, I'll then switch to the 2x2 ashwood flooring and arrange them so that they create a rhombus or a rotated square in the middle of them, just like this. Ashwood stairs on either end to create a smooth walk onto the bridge. Our walls for this bridge will start with 26° ashwood walls on either side. Ashwood dividers going all the way along will make an incredible looking wall. I've recessed these down halfway so that the wall isn't too tall. Ashwood beams on top of these dividers will make things look a lot cleaner. At the very edges in the four corners of the bridge, I'll embed some ashwood poles into the ground. On top of those, I'll add a single 2-meter ashwood pole. I'll add another pole behind each of those poles, as well as 2 more on each side, equally spacing them apart. Every pole will then have an ashwood arch on top of it, making sure it's facing inwards. The ashwood dividers have poked through underneath, so they can be covered with the ashwood half wall. And at the bottom of those walls, another row of ashwood beams. Underneath, some normal wooden stairs will look kind of like a support structure for underneath the bridge. And to finish the support look, 2 pieces of 45° ashwood beams coming off the bridge going into the wall. I'll frame where the roof is going to be using the 2-meter ashwood beams. Add 26° ashwood beams going towards the center, wherever 2 ashwood beams meet. We can fill in the spaces in between with ashwood stairs. Once the stairs are in, another 26° beam in between each staircase that doesn't have one. A quick note to bear in mind, the roof won't technically be a roof for this bridge, it will be made of ashwood stairs, so it won't grant the sheltered effect. We can finish the roof with a row of ashwood beams along the very top. Underneath the roof, I think a row of ashwood decorative windows will look nice. And again, we can clean that look up with a row of ashwood beams. To place the torches, I'll knock out a few pieces so I'm able to put the torches on the lowest level of beams. Once done, I'll replace the parts I removed. And I shan't complain about a couple more torches in the middle. Bridge number 4 will begin with 2 rows of darkwood beams separated by 2 pieces of 2x2 ashwood flooring. In between the flooring pieces, I'm going to add a row of wood iron beams, making sure the beams come into contact with the ground to ensure their stability. I don't want the wood iron beams going all the way to the edge, otherwise they're going to show through the stairs when we add them later. So I'll add a 1-meter beam spacer to position it correct. I'll also fill in the rest of the floor with more ashwood flooring. The orientation really isn't important here. Each side of the bridge will get 4 sets of ashwood stairs. I'll also place another staircase in front of each of those staircases, and that will lead them into the ground. We can cover up the staircase edges with these beautiful 26° darkwood beams. Using ashwood decorative walls, we can connect the staircases together. With a row of darkwood beams across the top of the decorative walls. Place a 4-meter darkwood pole in the 4 corners at the top of the stairs, as well as 2 more poles in the center of each side. I may as well also add some shorter poles underneath each of those poles just to fill in the gaps. I'm going to add a super basic handrail in 1 meter above the decorative windows, making sure I leave the middle section clear. I can then fill in that middle section with the ashwood decorative walls. The dark wood beams will be used to cover the wood iron beams in the floor. Add dark wood arches over the top parts of the poles, making sure that they all face inwards. Then I'll connect the tops of the poles with dark wood beams. Underneath, I can just use some simple 26-degree dark wood beams to add a cosmetic support structure. Next, I can add a roof with the 26-degree shingled roof, and I'll have the roof pieces extend over slightly on either end. I'll just quickly take out the existing beams and then reorder the roof pieces just so that it's not that messy. The beams on the side will follow into the entrances with the 26-degree variants. We can add a few more dark wood arches pointing outwards onto each corner. Doing so will give us a great place to add some light sources. The hanging braziers are an excellent option for this. To complete the floor, I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'll begin placing down a lot of item stands. I'll add 9 into each floor piece, and then I'll add more in between all of those. Not forgetting, of course, to add a few to the dark wood beams in the center. Now, go ahead and fill every single item stand with a yellow mushroom. This is going to take a while, and make sure you're not hungry when you do this. Now, if you're doing this with cheats or dev commands, do not type spawn glowing mushroom. You'll end up with this atrocity. The great thing about this is you can't remove it. You can punch it, hack it, pick it, try whatever you want, but you're stuck with it. I've heard that some mods can get rid of it, but I'm not 100%, so save yourself and please don't make the same mistake I did. Instead, make sure to type spawn mushroom yellow. I don't want the glowing to be seen through the stairs, so I'll add some ashwood half walls to block it off, but this is just personal preference. Now I can complete the floor with the ashwood decorative floor. Since the yellow mushrooms glow, we'll be able to see them through the sides and through the floor. The very last thing, I'll add a few more dark wood arches just under the roof. Thank you all for watching, remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and I do hope that you'll join me in the next one.